Welcome to the PreSnap Podcast, presented by LineStar. All things fantasy football with a sprinkle of sports betting, alongside Tyler Weeman. I'm Shannon Somerville. We're giving you a look at your Monday Night Football Week 14 matchup between the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals. The New England Patriots are 2.5-point road favorites in this one. The Patriots are coming off a Thursday Night Football loss against the Buffalo Bills, while the Arizona Cardinals are coming off a bye week, but prior to that, they had a tough loss against the Chargers. Both teams underperforming this season. What do you expect going into this game?
A little bit of struggle street is what we got here. First of all, I'd like to say it's nice to have you back.
Oh, yeah, out of the COVID bubble. We are back. We are testing negative, and we are ready to roll.
You're off struggle street as well. So
exactly.
This game's kind of interesting here. We have one good defense, one good offense.
Right.
You know, and that's pretty much the battle tonight.
This is very much a game with playoff implications for the New England Patriots, who right now have a 40% chance of making the playoffs. Do you anticipate them getting in?
Probably not. I think they're just missing a little bit. And this offense has taken a step back from last year, which is kind of surprising with, you know, Mac Jones being in his second year. You would have expected it to go the other way, but them parting with McDaniels has obviously shown its impact.
A huge factor in that was their offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, now coaching for the Raiders, where it seems like he's struggling there. So maybe he needs to go back with the New England Patriots and get that offense on track. In fact, quarterback Mac Jones visibly frustrated on the sidelines of that Thursday Night Football game, where you could see him mouthing, "Throw the effing ball." He was looking for more of those big explosive plays, throwing down the field, as opposed to the small little checkdowns or just running the ball. The offense is basically predicated on
He has said that he didn't say that, but I don't know about that. Sure looks like it. I am
an expert now.
Sure looks like that.
Well, regardless, he did have some frustration, so we will see if that will get corrected in this one. Of course, their offensive coordinator, I don't even think that's his official title, is Matt Patricia, who's a former defensive coordinator. So you've basically got a defensive-minded coach calling the offense, which will have some fantasy implications, and we'll talk about that as we get into our daily fantasy projections. We'll also have our touchdown calls, our prop bets, and our game picks. First, though, let's start off with our injury report, because there are some really important injury notes. We're going to SIXScore.com for the latest updates on injuries. Make sure to check that out before you place any bets or play daily fantasy. First, let's look at the New England defense, who will be without cornerback Jalen Mills, who's out with a groin injury, going up against the Arizona offense without wide receiver Rondale Moore, also dealing with a groin injury. On the other side of things, you've got the Patriots offense, who are out without left guard Isaiah Wynn, who's out with a foot injury. Wide receiver Jacoby Myers, out with a concussion in this one. Running back Damian Harris, out with a thigh injury. And on the Arizona Cardinals defense, you've got cornerback Byron Murphy, who is out with a back injury. Some big-time fantasy players right there. What do you make of the injury report here?
Yeah, I mean, Damian Harris, without him, Stevenson is the guy, which we have seen. He has had some giant games without Harris, so he's in line for another one here.
All right, let's take a look at our daily fantasy projections. We will start off with the New England Patriots and quarterback Mac Jones, who's averaging 218 passing yards per game. That ranks 22nd in the NFL. He's having a down year. A lot of that has to do with the offense that is so predicated on the run game and playing very conservatively this year. So what do you make of his fantasy value for tonight, going up against an Arizona defense that hasn't been good either? They rank 25th in pass defense DVOA.
If there is ever a game for him to get it going and restart his season here, this is the game. Arizona ranks 31st, allowing 1.9 passing touchdowns over the last 9. But it even gets worse that over the last 4 games, they're allowing 2.5 passing touchdowns and almost 250 yards. So teams have been able to easily pass against this team, and that's kind of the path of least resistance for this Patriots team.
And some of the criticism they've gotten has been their offensive play calling. So will we see, I guess, a different play calling strategy, especially given the frustration we saw out of Mac Jones. I'm sure going into meetings, he will be voicing his frustration there as well.
I mean, maybe there is a little bit of a squeaky wheel scenario here, but that's just not the Patriots. They're going to run the ball. I almost said the D word there, which would need to be said, as far as the Patriots offense. But that's going to be their first go-to. If they start getting behind, then I would expect them to pass. But I just don't expect them to come out pass heavy from the first snap.
All right, to the R word, running back.
Yep.
Ramondre Stevenson is one of the best plays in fantasy this year. He's having a great season, averaging 93 yards from scrimmage this season. He's a threat not only in the run game, but the pass game as well. He's got that lateral agility, great after contact as well. And Arizona ranks 21st in rush defense DVOA. What do you make of Stevenson's spot for tonight?
Yeah, and over the last 4 weeks, he's averaging 99 total yards and 6 receptions a game. Meanwhile, this Arizona D has been really bad to receiving backs. They're allowing 7.8 receptions, 57.8 yards receiving per game to the running back over those last 4 weeks here. So I really like Stevenson. He can beat you multiple different ways, and he's absolutely the best captain option on this Patriots team.
And there are some implications for best ball, you were telling me before the show. You got to tell this story because it's the game within a game tonight.
It is.
If you're looking for another angle
game
to be pulling for.
So if you guys aren't aware, the big underdog best ball tournament, it is $1 million to the first place team of the regular season. The guy that is currently in first has a 45-point lead over second place. Second place has Ramondre. So the guy is sweating big time, hoping Ramondre doesn't go absolutely nuts
tonight.
Yes, it ends
and
tonight.
So it all hinges on that Ramondre Stevenson performance.
Yep. And it's crazy too because I don't think second place gets anything. It's just winner take all for that $1 million. Second place just advances to the playoffs. Right. So kind of a crazy little sweat there.
To watch for. Let's take a look at our wide receivers now. And without Jacoby Myers, it will be Devontae Parker, who's averaging 43.6 receiving yards per game this season, but he is capable of some breakout performances, 156 yards against the Ravens back in week 3. He's great at making those difficult catches. What he has struggled with was creating separation, which he's not always open, which is the issue with him. For the third straight year, Parker ranks worst in the NFL in average separation. However, going up against this Arizona Cardinals defense that has struggled. In fact, cornerback Antonio Hamilton got roasted by Troy Aikman in that game against the 49ers for just a complete lack of effort, which you've seen across the board with this Arizona Cardinals team, just an overall lack of effort. They're four and what is their record right now?
4-8, I believe.
4-8. Yeah, 4-8 on the season, kind of mailing it in a little bit. What do you see from Parker's perspective for daily fantasy play?
Yeah, I really wish the Patriots would just kind of throw it up for Parker a little bit more because we've seen that he is really good at high pointing the ball and going after it even when he doesn't have much separation. But they just haven't been doing that. Parker is obviously the WR1 here. He's going to play the most snaps. I don't mind him. I like him. It's a bad Arizona D. But also, I wouldn't really be surprised if Aguilar, Bourne, or Thornton had a bigger game than Parker.
Okay.
So the way that Patriots use their wide receivers, it's really hard to know who's going to be the guy.
Yeah, especially when you got Matt Patricia calling the shots there on the offense, which hasn't exactly turned in a lot of fantasy performances from the receiving core.
But as far as the guy that is most likely to say have 100 and a touchdown, it's got to be Parker from that receiving core.
All right. Who else are you looking at that might be some sleeper picks on the Patriots?
I think Hunter Henry's in a good spot, but as far as a sleeper, Jonnu Smith is really interesting without Myers. Maybe Smith plays a little bit more. Obviously, Aguilar and Thornton as well. And then Kendrick Bourne.
All right. Now let's take a look at the Arizona Cardinals, and quarterback Kyler Murray has been struggling. It is no secret. Some of the worst numbers of his career, throwing touchdown passes at just a 3.6% clip. That's the worst mark of his career. Another worst mark is his passer rating and 6.1 yards per attempt. That is also a career worst, and it ranks down there with the likes of Kenny Pickett. He just hasn't been good this season, and going up against a very good New England Patriots defense that ranks third in DVOA. However, New England does lead the league in quarterback pressures, which, what does that result in? Quarterback scrambling opportunities for Kyler Murray. What do you make of this matchup?
Yeah, I think Kyler's going to have his scrambling opportunities, but it's a tough matchup for Kyler. New England's ranked 10th, only allowing 220 passing yards a game over the last 9. So it's not going to be easy sledding for him. However, he has all these weapons at his disposal. I think he can make something happen. And with his scrambling upside, there's a good chance that he is in the optimal lineup.
One of those weapons is his running back, James Conner, who just had 140 yards from scrimmage against the Chargers. And that was the best game of this year. And going up against a New England defense that is good, but Conner's been showing some great upside.
Yeah, it was against the Chargers, though, which everybody has beat the Chargers on the run except for the Dolphins last night that just didn't want to run, which it was crazy to me. But the Pats have been solid against the run, only allowing 0.2 rushing touchdowns over the last 9. So I don't know if there's going to be a giant upside game for Conner here. If he beats the Patriots, it's probably going to be down from checkdowns in the passing game.
All right. And another huge weapon for Kyler Murray, probably his favorite weapon, is wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, who's averaging 95.6 receiving yards per game. He's had a touchdown in 3 of the 6 games he's played this season. He's healthy, he's in the lineup, and he is a go-to target for Kyler Murray and capable of those big explosive plays that we love seeing each week for fantasy purposes.
Yeah, I think you got to love D-Hop here. He's averaging 10.7 targets a game. And WR1s over the last 4 weeks are averaging 66.25 receiving yards and 0.5 touchdowns per game versus New England. So there's a pretty good chance he gets in the end zone. And the receiving yards wise, I would say he's probably higher than that 66 number here.
Another wide receiver back in the lineup is Marquise Brown, who returned from a foot injury the last game against the Chargers. He had 46 receiving yards in that. Prior to that, he was averaging 79.8 receiving yards per game. When those two are in the lineup together, this is a different offense.
Absolutely. I mean, Murray just has so many more places to throw the ball. And big-time playmakers. I mean, Brown can get behind the defense and really bust a big play here. He had 8 targets last week. He's played over 80% of the snaps, so he's going to be a full go here. I think Brown's a nice pivot off Hopkins.
All right, so we know everyone's going to go in on Hopkins, maybe Marquise Brown in this one. So who are some sleeper picks, maybe a little more under the radar?
I think Greg Dortch is really interesting. So Brown played a lot of his snaps last week out of the slot. I think Dortch could take that spot in pushing Brown outside. And if that's the case, I think Dortch is going to get plenty of targets. And then another guy is Trey McBride, the backup tight end who has been playing for Zach Ertz. All
right. So now let's take a look at who's going to be in that captain MVP spot for you. Who do you like?
Ramondre, obviously, Devontae Parker, Kyler, D-Hop, and then Marquise Brown. I would say those are most of my captain exposure.
All right. So some great fantasy analysis for you there for Daily Fantasy. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And for more analytics and statistics to help you dominate in DFS, make sure to check out linestarapp.com. We've got a lineup optimizer there for you as well. If you just want to roll the dice and see what it spits out for you, go win that money in all those contests, make sure to check it out, linestarapp.com. Now it's time for our touchdown calls of the game for Week 14 Monday Night Football. Tyler, who you got for an anytime touchdown?
I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson. Just frankly, he is going to be a majority of this offense. The offense is going to run through him, both receiving and rushing. I think he gets it done tonight.
All right, I am going Patriots tight end Hunter Henry plus 330. That is some great value there. Now, he's only averaging 28 receiving yards per game and just 2 touchdowns on the year for him. But this is a 6'5", 250-pound, huge target in the red zone. He's got great hands, and this will be a matchup nightmare for the Arizona Cardinals, who rank dead last in opponent red zone scoring percentage and 30th in pass defense DVOA versus opposing tight ends. Give me Hunter Henry with that plus 330 price. I'm loving that.
I like it.
For tonight's game. Now let's go shopping in the prop market. Tyler, where are you going for a prop in this game?
I'm going with a Kyler Murray interception, over 0.5 interceptions. He's thrown a pick in 6 of 10 games. He's averaging 0.8 interceptions per game. And the Pats defense have an interception in 9 of 12 games this year. I think he throws a pick tonight.
I am going Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson under 75.5 rushing yards. Tyler, I know you like Ramondre Stevenson tonight for his yards from scrimmage, but I don't know about that rushing number specifically. I do think he can get there on the receiving prop, but averaging 61 rushing yards per game. He's only gone over twice this season. I just think that 75.5 number is really high, even though Damian Harris is out in this one, so his workload will be increased. He's just got a different skill set. He's not like a north-south runner. He's very shifty. He's more of like a shake and bake artist as opposed to kind of shove it down your throat type of running back, and he's going up against an Arizona rush defense. They're not actually that bad. Where they do struggle is against pass-catching running backs, where they rank 30th in pass defense DVOA. So I think the way the game script rolls out for him is more pass-catching opportunities for Ramondre Stevenson, therefore taking away some opportunities in specifically rushing. So the Patriots, I think, lean into that pass-catching Ramondre Stevenson as opposed to the rusher. So under 75.5 rush yards.
Well, the guy in first and underdog hopes you're right.
Sure he does. That's a lot of money on the line for Ramondre Stevenson to
he would have to have a giant game.
Yeah. That's a lot of fantasy
points.
But
I would be so uncomfortable.
Really? That's a lot of... How many points?
45?
45? Yeah, that's a ton.
It's a ton. I mean, we're talking he needs 2-3 touchdowns probably to get there.
Well, according to my prop bet, he's safe. I think he can rest easy. All right. Now let's get to our game picks. The Patriots 2.5-point road favorites in this one at the Arizona Cardinals. Tyler, who do you have in this game?
I think the Patriots get it done.
All right. I'm glad you said that because I always like to go against you in some of these picks. And after looking at the whole thing, I'm actually taking the Cardinals in this one on the money line, plus 110. Just, they're coming off a bye. And just before the bye, they started playing a lot better in that game against the Chargers. We saw Murray have 3 touchdowns in that game. He played a lot better. So he's improved. He's also got DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown back, and James Conner. It's more of a healthy offense that we haven't really seen all season long, aside from that game against the Chargers where they did improve. So I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one in that dynamic offense because, quite frankly, when I look at the Patriots and their offense after
it's been terrible.
What they did against the Buffalo Bills in Thursday Night Football, it just did not inspire a lot of confidence in me in that team.
Their offense has been terrible. I think Mac Jones can get it done, though. This defense they're going against is terrible. And honestly, I think Ramondre Stevenson's going to have a big enough game to just kind of will
carry
them
the
to
team.
A win.
Well, we will still see tonight. Certainly the Arizona Cardinals are in quite the downward spiral. They've lost 6 of their last 8 games, and they've just been a huge disappointment.
Kingsbury needs to go.
Cliff Kingsbury obviously getting a lot of the blame for that. And you can kind of see the dysfunction in the organization. They had a coach that was sent back when they were in Mexico City that was like dismissed from the team. On the road, I've just never really heard something like that. You've got players retired. Like, you've got so much coming out of that locker room.
Yeah. And, I mean, Kingsbury is supposed to be an offensive guru, and this offense isn't anything special. And they have a ton of different weapons. So, certainly some of that falls on to Kyler Murray not being able to execute. But to your point, you got to have a good leader. Too many video games, not enough practice. The fact that was in the clause is just... it's
the whole organization, it just speaks to the overall dysfunction. So that is where I am concerned with this. There is the concern of the overall effort level of the Cardinals that Troy Aikman, in fact, pointed out on in that game against the 49ers.
Do you have concern that it's Belichick in primetime?
Yes, however, this season, I'm not as terrified of the hoodie as I used to be in years past. What do you think about Bill Belichick's, I guess, is he on the hot seat?
No.
No?
He can leave whenever he wants. What about the rumors that Belichick-Brady reunion next year?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, not happening. I think they've been there, done that. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Just don't see that happening. I don't know where Brady's going to end up. He seemed very happy in San Francisco.
That could
even
be
though they got
a good
their
spot.
butts kicked.
They got destroyed,
He
but
got outdueled by Brock Purdy.
Yeah, he did.
It happens.
Yeah.
All right.
I couldn't believe that yesterday I sent a text that said Brock Purdy over Tom Brady.
Ooh. I mean, this is the 2022 NFL season for you.
I mean,
I never thought I would be circling an upcoming game between the Detroit Lions and the New York Jets, but here we are a couple weeks away from that, and that's a playoff game.
The Bucs are terrible. The Lions have, a 40% chance at the playoffs now?
Is it 40?
Yeah, it's 40.
So the same playoff odds as the New England Patriots.
Yes.
Who would have thought that at the beginning of the season?
I know. And the Lions look good.
The Lions look very good.
Gotten way better with stopping the run. It's kind of exciting.
They're biting some kneecaps, and watch out for those guys next couple of weeks. They have a tough road ahead of them, though.
They do.
All right. That's going to do it for today's PreSnap Podcast. Make sure to check out linestarapp.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below. Let us know what you think of all of our picks. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck in all your daily fantasy and your prop bets. Go win some money.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.